We're approaching a year of the Van Graan era soon enough. Have you seen enough of his stamp? Like, it's something that Matt seems to be alluding to there, is that we don't necessarily know what the Munster style is under Johan Van Graan just yet.
No, and I think elements of that are frustrating. I would find it really difficult to argue with Matty in terms of his comments this week because, look, I've met Van Graan a couple of times. I actually think he's a really good coach. I think he's got great capacity. I think he needs, and Munster needs, for the most part, very much a full team when they go out and play. And just for a little bit at the start of that, some of the guys they brought in hadn't played a huge amount of rugby. Mike Sherry hadn't played a huge amount of rugby. Cleete hadn't played a huge amount of rugby. And that area of the field, which is the area inside 10, has to be one of the strongest defensive areas. So the two places you're really looking for to be very strong are at 13, which is a very difficult position to defend, and inside 10, because you have to protect your 10's shoulder. And that's where Munster were poor. And look, I know these guys are good players, and I know that they're well able to play. They have to get up to match speed very, very quickly, because if you don't slow down the ball at ruck time, as Matt said, then you're in a tougher position defensively. And you have to be unbelievably quick up in the line there. Where I got frustrated with it was the hit and the tackle didn't happen. It seemed like almost a bit of a soak. So a soak that then became a fall off of the tackle. The rest of the team can't tidy that up. You know, you have to get yourself to a point defensively where you trust the players to make the tackle. Once they make the tackle, you're fine. If they don't make the tackle, it's going to be a score for the opposition. That's actually the way it's supposed to be. You don't want to be covering everybody all the time because you run out of gas by the end of the game. So for me, it was, for whatever reason, players not fully up to match speed, attitude not being fully right, again, for whatever reason. And Munster don't get a huge amount of look in terms of that. When you look at Leinster, they have a much...
they have a deeper reservoir of talent.
They have a deeper reservoir of talent, but they also have far less players coming back from injury. And so the players that are in there, it doesn't seem to have as much of an impact when you make a change. For Munster, for whatever reason, and for maybe some of the lack of depth of talent, they struggle a little bit more in these games. And look, I would say the same, but for me, attitude-wise, you have to go forward. Yeah. You can't give a really good ball-stepping centre who is a good player but not a great player, to paraphrase Dunphy. You just can't give him the space to be able to step at 100 miles an hour. You have to close that down. And Munster didn't do it. So they played some really good rugby in the first half, were in a good position to go and do it, and then nothing happened afterwards. So for me, defensively, well off the mark, attitude-wise. I was a bit disappointed that we weren't seeing a huge amount with the ball in hand.